And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, Aquaba, and welcome to another round of our Friday broadcast here on LAB Radio. We call this Making Money Fridays, where we look at a broad spectrum of activities related to economic development, financial development, entrepreneurship, and sustainability. It's all about planning for the future. Today's date is Friday. It is the 25th day of October 2024 in the Western calendar. This corresponds to the year 6264 in the Kemetic calendar, to which we realign our cultural clock. Welcome to the 7th millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place on LIV Radio, LIV TV, and on livinginblack.com. My name is Kedia Wadu, aka the Conscious Rasta, and it's Friday. Doc Stephanie is out traveling right now, and so the schedule is going to change just a little bit over the course of the next week or so, or 2 or 3, or we get back on a regular schedule. But it's always a pleasure to be with you, and I think you're going to find today's conversation inspiring, informative, and hopefully exciting, as we all plan for a prosperous, sustainable future, not just for our individual selves, but better yet, for our generation, our children, our children's children, and for future generations. It is about sustaining this beautiful pearl water-covered planet we call our Mother Earth. So let's get into the topic today on LB Radio. We look at a new field of science in sustainable ecology called bioregeneration. Within this philosophy, the planet is a synergistic closed loop where any output from one system is not regarded as waste, but as an input for the next system. Just as animals and plants exchange carbon dioxide for oxygen to sustain both systems, under bioregeneration, we can extend this functional mutuality to increasingly more sustainable practices. Let's examine top companies advancing this technology. So that is a conversation for today. I hope you find this to be informative. I personally find this theme that we're talking about today more compelling, more important than the now 10 days away, 11 days away election. I'm serious. We have got to get serious about the themes, about the topics that we are dealing with. So the topic on today, bioregeneration. Let me just describe what my searching has been today, and bear with me, I didn't get a chance to do a lot of writing, a lot of research on the topic for today. I think I am going to include this subject, bioregeneration for a sustainable economic future. I'm going to include this in my upcoming book called Disaster Preparedness for World Wars 5 and 6, because what we're talking about today does synchronize with what I am calling World War 5. World War 5 is the corporations against the workers' middle class. And in this particular case, we're talking about how corporations, how businesses, how big companies, how industries have wrecked the environment for profit and gain, for short-term profit and gain, and creating a toxic environment for our generation, and it's going to be getting worse for future generations unless and until we have a serious turnaround, a 180-degree turnaround in the unsustainable practices of human beings on this planet, especially the corporations who really are taking the lead in this sustained degeneration. So we're serious, people. Let's go into what the research found. First of all, in the context of bioregeneration, I found two streams of thought. One stream of thought had to do with the medical, pharmaceutical, drug cartel industries. As you heard in my rant during my introduction, I think they are primarily responsible for the problem. So when they talk about bioregeneration, they're talking about growing cells and selling cells and transplant of skin for burn victims and all of those things. Hey, listen, that's all good, well and good. But what I am talking about is this beautiful water-covered pearl of a planet we call our Mother Earth. And one of the amongst the earliest civilization developments on this planet was about the Neteru that interfaced us, the human species, and our fellow species into the earth. Anthropomorphized is what they called how early African spiritual systems, religions, and African civilization development anthropomorphized the divine beings with the animals. And that's a topic for another conversation. Maybe we'll explore that a little bit later today. But that shows an appreciation for the attributes of nature, and that's what I'm talking about. So I used several AI search engines to come up with today's dialogue, and then you and I have the chance to kind of freestyle off the cuff and talk about our observances. Hey, I encourage you to, if you're listening out there today, check in and say hello to our global family. Please do. That's a nice, wonderful, polite, sustainable mutuality thing for all of us to do. Check in. Here we go. Let's take a look at what is on the research table. I'm going to go first to a research I did using DuckDuckGo. One of my favorite search engines. DuckDuckGo claims to protect our privacy, and that's appreciable. They wrote, and I quote, bioregeneration, in the context of sustainable ecology, refers to the use of biological processes and materials to restore ecosystems, enhance biodiversity, and promote environmental sustainability. This approach often involves leveraging natural systems, such as using living organisms to rehabilitate degraded environments, improve soil health, and restore habitats. The goal is to create a balance between human activities and ecological health, ensuring that natural resources are used responsibly and sustainably. Now that paragraph, that brief introduction took me right to the fact that I have this book over here on the shelf. I know it's on the shelf. It's called The Blackest Soil. Africa Can Feed the World. This book comes out in May of 2020. I had two books come out that month. This one came out at the beginning of the month. At the end of May 2020, I put out the book Panic. I'm going to be referring to the latter part of this book, which is about sustainable agribusiness, agricultural processes. And I'm going to explain to you why I do not subscribe to NPK chemical fertilizers, nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. I do subscribe to organic farming practices which reignite and enhance the microbiome of the soil. Hence the title of the book, The Blackest Soil, is related to the fact that when soil is fully awake and alive with the microbiome and organic processes and composting, that soil turns black. The blackest soil, therefore, becomes the most fertile soil for sustainable development. 1 second, as I clear the. Let us continue. Here are 7 of the companies operating in the field of bioregeneration related to sustainable ecology, along with the products they produce. The first of these is Ecotone products, ecological restoration services and products, including native plant seeds and soil amendments designed to restore habitats and promote biodiversity. Now, let me tell you, China is making tremendous inroads at restoring habitats and combating desertification. That's a very important point. And in fact, what I'll do is in the background, I have a few of these search engines pulled up. I'm just going to go in the background and type in China programs to reverse desertification. And that's a very, very important theme there. Halting desertification in China, an article from the World Bank Group. I'm going to ignore the World Bank Group. And let's go to drivers and impacts of changes in China's dry lands. That looks like a good article, and it's from nature.com. And the World Bank and the IMF do weigh in on this, as well as China's government or China's press. So bear with me here as I pull up a couple of these links. We're going to get to those here very shortly. Let's continue. Number 2 on the list, biohabitats, products, ecological restoration and design services, including living shorelines, green infrastructure solutions, and habitat enhancement projects. Hey, listen, doesn't this sound like a prime area for us to be educating our children for careers of the future? Biohabitats. Number 3, TerraCycle. Products include recycling and upcycling solutions for hard to recycle waste, including products made from recycled materials that promote a circular economy. Number 4, biomimicry 3.8. Products include consulting services that apply nature-inspired design principles to create sustainable solutions in architecture, product design, and urban planning. And you know something that reminds me that what should be on this list, are Kuchichagalia villages. I'm going to get to that today because I think that's a key critical component of this circular, how did I term it? I called it circular environmental symbiosis, synergism, that's it. The planet is a synergistic closed loop where any output from one system is not just regarded as waste, but as an input for the next system. That's what Kuchichagalia villages, that's one of our primary missions. Number 5 on this list, green mountain technologies. Products include composting systems and technologies that promote organic waste recycling and soil regeneration, contributing to sustainable waste management practices. Number 6, living roots. Products include green roof systems, that enhance, did I say roots? I should have said living roofs, ROOFS. Green roof systems that enhance urban biodiversity, improve air quality, and manage stormwater, contributing to sustainable urban ecology. And number 7 from this first search, Soil Health Institute. Products include research and educational resources focused on improving soil health, the blackest soil, through regenerative agricultural practices, promoting sustainable farming and ecosystem restoration. These companies exemplify the integration of biological processes and sustainable practices to promote ecological health, enhance biodiversity, and support the regeneration of natural systems. And you know something? I appreciate love what that says. So that one was from DuckDuckGo. And they do have a reference here. I think they do. Oh, I thought they had a reference, but I didn't see. I didn't see that reference there. One second. This is ecosystem. Okay. So we're going to come back to this here in just a second, because there's a lot of good information here, a lot of very good information for us to have access to. And the more I think about this, again, this topic just kind of jumped on me and jumped, I think, out of my email and just kind of jumped on me today. And I really like what I'm hearing. So let's go to the second search. Gave us a different set of companies. I went to Brave, one of my favorite browsers to use. And on the topic of regeneration technologies, bioregeneration refers to the process of using biological systems, organisms, or biomaterials to regenerate or replace damaged or diseased tissues, organs, or entire biological systems. Now, this one, I think, is going into biomedicine. I'm going to share this one to show you that there is a distinction between bioregeneration when it comes to sustainable climate, sustainable environmental, versus bioregeneration in medicine. Because in medicine, the primary motive of the corporation is for profit. Not to saying that their products could not be beneficial. Their products should be beneficial. We're going to make that presumption. But there's a different motive when it comes to profit versus sustainable environment. So bioregeneration refers to using biological systems, organisms, and biomaterials to regenerate or replace damaged or diseased tissues, organs, or entire biological systems. This field combines biotechnology, biomaterials, and tissue engineering to develop innovative therapies and products for regenerative medicine. Bioregeneration aims to restore or enhance natural biological functions, promoting healing, tissue repair, and organ regeneration. 7 companies operating in bioregeneration include Integra Life Sciences, develops biomaterials and tissue engineering products for wound care, surgical repair, and regenerative medicine applications, including dermal regeneration, skin, matrices, and nerve guidance conduits. Again, I'm not saying that these products and these companies are developing, I'm not saying that these are bad. I am saying that this is distinct from today's theme. Number 2, Stryker produces regenerative medicine products such as bone graft substitutes and tissue scaffolds for orthopedic and craniofacial applications. Number 3, Biomet offers a range of biomaterials and tissue engineering products for bone, cartilage, and soft tissue repair, including bone graft substitutes and tissue scaffolds. Number 4, organogenesis develops bioactive matrices and tissue engineered products for wound care and skin regeneration, including Apligraph, a bioengineered skin substitute. Number 5, and as they talk about a Apligraph, a bioengineered skin substitute, it reminds me of science fiction movies where they create robots or androids or space aliens that will adapt a synthetic skin so that they appear more lifelike, more realistic. Apligraph. That sounds interesting. Maybe we'll take a look at Apligraph just a little bit closer. Copy. And I'm going to post that one into one of my search engines here. And what does Apligraph do? And so we're going to come down, we're going to get into what does Apligraph do. And I'm looking for search. And we're going to come back to that here just very shortly. Continuing. Oh, wait. Let me make sure I've completed my search. What does Apligraph do? Okay. While I'm at it, let me just go. Based on provided search results, Apligraph is a living cellular skin substitute used to accelerate the healing of venous leg ulcers, VLUs, and diabetic foot ulcers. It is a bio-layered, bioengineered skin substitute approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration designed to promote wound healing. Apligraph works by modulating inflammatory and growth factor signaling, activating keratinocytes at the wound edge, and converting the chronic wound profile to resemble an acute healing wound profile. This process helps to shift the wound environment from a non-healing to a healing milieu. Now, your body's designed to do this on its own, but in the case such as diabetic foot wounds and other ulceratic wounds, the epigenetic environment is too toxic for the natural process of skin regeneration to be able to complete itself. So that's why they're now putting in this modulatory inflammatory and growth factor signaling. Continue. When applied to a wound, Apligraph provides the necessary elements for healing to take place. It is not an ointment or a cream, but a living treatment that is placed directly on the wound and covered with dressings. The dressings are changed weekly at the physician's office until the wound is completely healed. Studies have demonstrated that Apligraph can close more VLUs and DFUs faster. Again, VLU stands for venous leg ulcers. And the other one is diabetic foot ulcers. Oh, and the other one, yeah, that's the other one. So, diabetic foot ulcers faster. Lead to lower healthcare costs. And 3, alters specific molecular and cellular responses in the wound environment, converting the chronic wound profile to resemble an acute healing wound profile. Apligraph is a treatment option for patients with venous leg ulcers and diabetic foot ulcers that have failed standard wound care, offering a potential solution for accelerating wound healing and improving patient outcomes. Hey, that's not so bad. That's not so bad at all. So that is what Apligraph is about. And, like I say, I'm not a big fan of Western medicine. It kind of scares me in many ways. But at the same time, every now and then, it seems to come up with innovative solutions that could be very practical. Anyone dealing with wound care obviously will realize this to be a positive option. Number 5, we're talking about bioregeneration in the field of medicine, medical research. 5 is tissue tech. Produces regenerative medicine products such as dermal regeneration matrices and amniotic membrane-based products for wound care and ocular applications. Ocular meaning for the eye. Number 6, biotime. Develops stem cell-based products and biomaterials for regenerative medicine applications, including skin substitutes and cardiovascular tissue engineering. Cardiovascular tissue engineering. They're talking about engineering heart tissue and vessel tissue. That's getting into the areas kind of scary, especially when we realize that much of the problems we're trying to fix are caused by maladaptive behaviors. Smoking, drinking excessive amounts of alcohol, eating high on the hog. These problems cause cardiovascular problems. Now they come in with a very, very expensive solution. That's number 6, biotime. Number 7, Regen Biologics. Focuses on developing bioactive matrices and tissue. Now, when they say matrices, that's for burn care or open wound care. The matrix is a scaffolding by which the regenerated tissue will be able to create structure. So again, generates bioactive matrices and tissue engineered products for musculoskeletal and orthopedic applications, including meniscal regeneration scaffolds. So meniscal regeneration scaffolds would be for repairing bones, where they used to put pins and plates and all kind of things in. Well, this meniscal regeneration scaffold would theoretically be used for bone and muscle restructuring and regeneration. These companies are at the forefront of medical bioregeneration, leveraging advances in biotechnology, biomaterials, and tissue engineering to develop innovative products for tissue repair, regeneration, and replacement. So, enough respect. I'm going to give these companies their respect, and to the pioneering innovators involved in this, I hope that the efforts that you produce do not create a greater void between the billionaire class and the working class, but actually go toward ending human suffering. I'm going to go back to ecosystem bioregeneration. We went to Ecosia for this next search, and it returned the following. Bioregeneration refers to the process of restoring and enhancing the biological integrity of ecosystems through various sustainable practices. It involves using natural processes and materials to regenerate habitats, improve biodiversity, and promote ecological balance. The concept is crucial in sustainable ecology as it focuses on healing and revitalizing ecosystems that have been degraded or damaged. And just real quickly, is anybody saying hello to a brother? All right. Make sure you check in. Hit the like button if you would, so we can let the algorithms know that, yes, we are here and we want to grow. Ecosia returned the following. Here are 7 companies that operate in the field of bioregeneration and the products they produce. Number 1, Ecotone specializes in ecological restoration and offers services that include habitat restoration and the creation of green infrastructures. 2, TerraPass provides carbon offset solutions and supports projects that restore ecosystems such as reforestation and wetland restoration. I'm loving what I'm hearing. These are the kind of companies I think should be built up through our investments. Number 3, biomimicry, 3.8, we've mentioned them earlier, focusing on designing solutions inspired by nature, offering consulting services and educational resources to promote sustainable practices. Number 4, restoration agricultural development develops and promotes agroforestry practices that regenerate soil health and enhance biodiversity in agricultural systems. Number 5, Green Blue works on sustainable materials management and promotes the use of regenerative materials in product design and manufacturing. And in that name, Green Blue, it immediately took my mind to the horrible problem that man has created for this planet called microplastics. And any solutions that can be come up with, such as what Green Blue is doing, using sustainable materials. Stop infusing plastic into the environment. Sustainable materials. We can use soy-based plastics, which are biodegradable. We can introduce many products made from algae. We can use bamboo, hemp, and linen or flax products. We can introduce these products at scale for decades and decades and decades. Why not us? Number 6 on this list, the Nature Conservancy engages in various ecological restoration projects and offers programs aimed at conserving and restoring natural habitats. And sometimes we got to watch out for some of these nature-based conservancies because they have a tendency to want to grab land and grab governance. And they regard Africa as incapable of maintaining its own ecology, while at the same time you and I realize who taught ecology to the planet. And now you're saying we who taught this to the planet are incapable of perpetuating it? We could use help, yes. But don't write me out. Don't rule me out. I'll have to prove to you my competence. Number 7 of 7, soil and more, focuses on regenerative agriculture by promoting products and services that enhance soil health and promote sustainable farming practices. We're still using these AI search engines, and they're giving us a mother load. I'm really enjoying what I'm hearing. Bioregeneration. This comes from Copilot. Bioregeneration, in the context of sustainable ecology, involves using biological processes and technologies to restore and maintain healthy ecosystems. This approach aims to promote biodiversity, enhance ecosystem services, and support sustainable development by leveraging natural regeneration processes and innovative biotechnological solutions. And exactly what they described there is what we are dealing with when it comes to living what we call Kuji-Chagalia villages. I'm just going to take just a second here and go into Kuji-Chagalia villages. I'm looking for Brass Ring. And this is a group that is in Ghana, West Africa. Brass, where you at? Brass, Brass Ring. Where is it? Let me find it. Because what they are doing, it might be under the Brass Ring. That's where it is. The Brass Ring Ghana. What they are doing, and they reached out to me to become engaged, I think is really absolutely wonderful. I'm going to show you a couple of images that are relative to this. So I'm just going to pull this up, present this shared screen. And the window I'm going to share is here. This is from a PowerPoint lecture that I've done on this topic. And it deals with a new, sustainable, self-determining economy. And this is the purpose, the backbone, the underlying motivation of Kujichagulia villages. Those of you who have listened for some time, you hear me talk a lot about Kujichagulia villages. 18 macro functions for a Kuji village. Number one, de-urbanized survival zones with housing. And all of you should hear sustainability in all of these. 2, elderly retirement villages. 3, healing retreats and wellness tourism. 4, campground facilities. 5, organic food production. Number 6, food preservation and packaging. Number 7, healing herbs, growing and packaging. Number 8, vocational training facilities. Number 9, a convention center. Number 10, an outdoor amphitheater. Number 11, agri-tourism. Number 12, eco-tourism. Number 13, green economy, home construction and training. Number 14, soundstage for media production. Number 15, a people's university. We call it a permaculture campus. Number 16, sustainable energy development and training. And number 17, writers' workshops, book production. And number 18 of our 18 macro functions, cultural tourism. This is what we aim to do within this environment we call Kujichagulia villages. And let me just show you, I have some AI renderings of what the Kuji village would look like. This image you see would be a typical village. You see the baobab tree in the center. It's not a baobab, but you see the tree that's the center of the village where the elders meet. And these models are based upon traditional African round houses with thatched roofs. But also we've integrated some other things such as rooftop agriculture. And we've integrated solar panels into the village designs. So again, these are AI renderings. I'm going to show you one more. This is not an AI rendering. This is a real life intentional community garden. And this is what I envision us creating within our Kujichagulia villages to feed ourselves, to experiment with different techniques, especially following the model of Dr. George Washington Carver, who his gardens were laboratories as well. And then we have the self-determined permaculture and innovation campuses that we call Kujichagulia villages. And I have some photographs from some of these are artist rendering. Some of them are real activity of us gathering and building at the Kujichagulia villages. And really, really proud of this record. As we reach to the stars, we're always remembering that we stand upon the shoulders of our great ancestors. Like them, we plan, build, grow food, create goods and services for our people's essential needs. Within our Kuji villages, we have the ability to rise to our greatest potential for the future. KujiChaguliaVillages.com. There is a book there. Kujichagulia Villages. There is a book. Get the book. Read the book. Read the plans. Read the critical need that we have. I call it Kujichagulia Villages, a practical plan for self-determined reparations. Marcus Garvey said, let the sky and God be our limit, and eternity our measurement. There's no height to which we cannot climb by using the active intelligence of our own minds. Mind creates, And as much as we desire in nature, we can have through the creation of our own minds. Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And so look at these images. This talks about what we're going through, the collapse of the American empire. So what comes next? It's about to get ugly. It's about to get really, really ugly. I wish I were not so pessimistic. But we have solutions. We can stand on the shoulders of our great ancestors, Booker T. Washington and George Washington Carver. Can the miracle of Tuskegee University be reconstituted for the 21st century? I say yes. It could be done in America, but most likely will not be able to accomplish that in the USA. So therefore, we put forward our team in game theory, global team we call the African future. And these are some of the 16 Pan-African books that I have published to date. I'm going to show you one more close-up of the villages. Here are again different AI rendering designs for what the villages would look like. We see the main village centered around water, of course. And it also includes recreational pools over here, but the water is for the village. And on the right-hand side at the top, we see a marketplace. And again, within our villages, especially because of the weather, we're going to use a combination of internal and inside and outside modeling. Of course, during the rainy seasons, you have to have solutions into place. Also, in the second image you see on the right-hand side, that is a stage for entertainment. Also could be used for putting on plays, for drumming and dancing. But that's what a stage would look like. And then within the dome structures that I use throughout, we show you a cutaway of what the inside of a dome structure might look like and how roomy, absolutely roomy, these dome structures could be. So let's just go. Oh, and this image here is desertification. This image is from China. I'm going to get to this today because China is doing a remarkable, remarkable job of recovering land, viable, fertile land from the desert. And we can replicate these efforts as well. This is just awesome if you ask me. Please do ask me. And going forward, these are renderings of the permaculture campus, Kujichagulia Village, with the center being the main center. It would be a combination of marketplace. Well, actually, these side ones are marketplaces where the housing would be off a little bit further. But it could be an amphitheater, a museum, a learning center, media center, education center, so much. And then, of course, surrounded by gardens and gardens and gardens, greenery everywhere, the symbiosis, what we're talking about today. Bioregeneration requires that we develop just as much plant life as we possibly can, as we integrated photovoltaic power regeneration into this Kujichagulia village. This is the one for Kenya. We've created others for Uganda and another one for Ghana. Kuji villages, permaculture campuses, and in all three of those locations, we have partners ready, willing, and able to collaborate, cooperate with us. We have just got to raise capital for investing in our future on our motherland continent. They welcome us at every given point, but we need to go there not with our hands empty begging. We need to go with our purses full so we can invest in this sustainable future. So that is what Kujichagulia villages are about. And I hope you see the vision. I hope you can feel that this is real. This vision is real. We are serious about building sustainable future for our motherland continent, Kuji villages. And on that note, let me just stop sharing. And let's go back to the text that I had pulled up for today. And we are talking from Copilot. Regeneration aims to promote biodiversity, enhance ecosystem services, and support sustainable development by leveraging natural regeneration processes and innovative biotechnology solutions. Here are 7 companies operating in the field of bioregeneration and the products they produce. Number 1, Restoration Ecology specializes in ecosystem restoration projects, including reforestation and wetland rehab. Number 2, Biohabitats, focusing on ecological restoration, conservation planning, and regenerative design. Number 3, EcoPlanet Bamboo, develops sustainable bamboo plantations for carbon sequestration and habitat restoration. Let me tell you, people, we could do this. Is anybody talking to me today? I'm still alone. But we can do this. We can launch our own company. We can launch our own company internationally. It could be headquartered in U.S. while having branch offices in Canada, UK, in CARICOM, across the CARICOM Basin, and of course branches in, let's start with 6 African countries and expand from there. Why not us? Why not us? Why not us? Number 4, Ecovative design. Ecovative design produces biodegradable packaging materials and building products using mycelium-based technology. And mycelium, bear with me here, mycelium-based technology, I think mycelium refers to mushrooms, but I could be wrong, which is why I want to search for what that is about. Mycelium-based technology. Mycelium is a versatile material that can be used to create a variety of products. Some samples of mycelium-based technology include styrofoam-like packaging, unleather handbags, flooring, soundproofing acoustic panels, benches. Mycelium can be used to replace plastics and create meat-like structures with a much smaller environmental footprint than traditional livestock. Mycelium-based technology. That sounds kind of important if you ask me. Somebody please ask me. So here, bear with me. I'm looking that up. Mycelium-based technology. And I got a response from Copilot. And I'm going to copy, cut, and paste that into our dialogue for today. We are talking about bioregenerative processes. And I'm going to go right back up to where we were. We were looking at that last one, Ecovative design. Number 5, biochar solutions, creates biochar products, which are for soil amendment, carbon sequestration, and waste management. Biochar deals with carbon sequestration. It could be making coal or charcoal, but in this case, biochar, we're talking about sustainable. Charcoal is not sustainable, not at the scale of what's needed at this particular point. Plus, charcoal pollutes the air, and that's a big problem in many African households where they're still using charcoal to cook, and the people's lungs inhale this carbon, and it's just not good in the long run. Number 6, Green Wave develops regenerative ocean farming systems that restore marine ecosystems and provide sustainable seafood. And number 7, the Land Institute works on developing perennial grain crops and sustainable agricultural practices to improve soil health and reduce erosion. These companies are contributing to sustainable ecology by promoting regenerative practices and innovative systems to restore and protect natural ecosystems. I just did a quick search on mycelium-based technology. Let me show you what it came up with. Mycelium-based technology is a fascinating and innovative field that leverages the natural processes of fungal mycelium, I said mushrooms, fungi would be more appropriate, to create sustainable and versatile materials. Here are some key points about mycelium-based technology. And before I go into that, let me just open these reference links that the Copilot AI used. I want to just open these and get to learn more about this. Here, bear with me. Let's take that and create another window here and open these in the other window. And it gave us a link to Ecovative as well. We grow better materials. Current manufacturing crisis, current material production methods are environmentally unsustainable, capital intensive, and struggle with supply chain volatility. Our solution, universal platform, Air Mycelium. Technology grows high performance materials in 10 days. And they're talking about scale, marketplace valuation, validation, and freedom through innovation. 40 plus patents, plus government validation through $26.2 million in federal research funding. I like what I'm seeing here, Ecovative. Let me just do this, copy and print this one to because listen people, Fridays we call Making Money Fridays. What I am hearing through all of this is business creation. Let's look in to creating competitive mechanisms that we can now compete for a sustainable future for our children and future generations. We can do this. Let's talk about mycelium. Mycelium is the vegetative part of a fungus consisting of a network of branching fibers called hyphae. Point 2. When introduced to a substrate like agricultural waste, the mycelium grows and binds the substrate particles together, forming a solid composite. Point 3. Sustainable materials. Mycelium-based materials are biodegradable and environmentally friendly. Bear with me. Number 4, continuing, applications. Mycelium-based technology has a wide range of applications, including packaging. Mycelium can be used to create biodegradable packaging materials, including construction. Mycelium composites can be used for insulation, paneling, and other construction materials. Fashion and textiles. Mycelium can be processed into leather-like materials for use in fashion and accessories. And companies and innovation. Several companies, such as Ecovative, are leading the way in mycelium-based technology, developing products like My Bacon, a meat alternative, and Forager Leather, a leather substitute. And future prospects as the world moves toward a circular economy, mycelium-based materials are gaining attention for their potential to replace petrochemical-based products and reduce environmental impact. Now, that is pretty good, and despite the fact that I started hiccuping in the middle of that. I get excited when I'm reading and studying these type of things. What do you think? Anybody out there want to check in? And let me double check on you now. And you now, it disconnected, but I'm just reconnecting it again. Sorry about that. Go live for you now, and we're going to share screen and come back. I don't know why. I do know why I disconnected, because I didn't just just interface with this browser. But we are back again for our You Now family. We appreciate, love you in the family. And let's continue. We're almost at the end of today's program. Let me just double check the time. Yeah, we got just a few more minutes. I want to just briefly talk to you from the book, The Blackest Soil, Africa Can Feed the World. And we're talking about organic farming and the blackest soil, agri-biotech for Africa's future. I'm just going to come right in on that chapter. Agri-biotech for Africa's future. And here, let me just share with you some of chapter 12. Agri-biotech for Africa's future. America's first agricultural scientists included Africans. The vast migration of African people during the transatlantic slave trade was one of the most impactful epochs of world history. The benefit to the enslaving nations of access to low-cost labor in inexhaustible amounts for as long as 4 centuries can be easily quantified as the advantage which created massive income to the world's major powers. Immense wealth was accumulated by the enslaving empires, such as those of the Arabs, Dutch, Portuguese, French, Spanish, British, as well as nations such as Brazil and the United States. Residual wealth and power from that transfer of human capital persists today, fueling our own persistence to seek reparations. Not often recognized in this transfer of human capital from Africa is the intellectual capital which was inclusive within this transfer. We cannot quantify the numbers of those who were kidnapped that were talented artists, healers, botanists, agriculturalists, masters of education, historians, doulas, childbirthing experts, metal workers, or who were otherwise experienced in some valuable skill set. We do have significant evidence of the presence of such skilled Africans in the enslaving nations during this period of history, which we would refer to as a sustained brain drain. Among the geniuses within the Americas who was born into the institution of slavery was a man who is now noted as one of the great scientific minds of the 19th and 20th century, Dr. George Washington Carver. In chapter 2, I cited a few of his contributions to the advance of agricultural and ecological science while collaborating at Tuskegee University with his sponsor, Booker T. Washington, and later working alongside the American industrialist Henry Ford. Dr. Carver contributed multiple innovations that benefited American agriculture, including crop rotation, crop rotation, biological regeneration of soil, nitrogen fixing through legumes, and increasing yield per acre. Dr. Carver also taught the value of composting for soil regeneration and revitalization. Carver's partnership with Booker T. Washington at Tuskegee University and later Henry Ford of the Ford Motor Company contributed many innovations to the progress of agroeconomics in the U.S. This to include the use of soybean oil and industrial hemp plant materials for fuel and materials manufacturing. My library contains multiple volumes of the life of this great scientific genius and the history of the Tuskegee University experience, which took place in Alabama and spread across the southern states. Dr. George Washington Carver has been cited as a primary inspiration in the lives of many people who have become highly accomplishing in agriculture, and has inspired the following action agenda to contribute to the themes of this book. Action agenda. Point 1. And just double checking. Point 1. Establishing G.W. Carver Organic Farming Research Centers in each of the 6 African Union Regional Economic Communities, RECs. Point 2. Building upon the Tuskegee model across the U.S., CARICOM, Central and South America. Point 3. Critical components of the laboratories include research, soil testing, seed analysis, protecting species diversity, establishing farming best practices, educating small, medium, and large-scale farming operations, educating college and university students, working with governments to assist to implement national goals for agricultural development, assisting with the growth of export agroeconomics. During his career at Tuskegee University, Dr. George Washington Carver published some 44 bulletins. Each of these rare booklets demonstrated specific processes to develop agricultural and ag-industrial technologies for enhanced production. We can develop the information within these publications to create immense opportunities to enhance food and agricultural practices to their optimal outcome. I have managed to collect 37 of Carver's bulletins. For these and so many other reasons, the life and legacy of Dr. Carver have inspired generations to follow his brilliant footprints toward greater understanding of the miracle of nature in botany and geosciences. For me, Dr. George Washington Carver is a saint. I feel his spirit every time I step into my backyard garden, which I have named the G.W. Carver Organic Gardening Laboratory. When in this space, I assume the spirit of Dr. Carver as I listen to the, quote, voice of God, unquote, as it speaks to me through the plants. One of his more famous quotes reveals that, quote, reading about nature is fine, but if a person walks in the woods and listens carefully, he can learn more than what is in the books, for they speak with the voice of God. And then I go on to commemorate the next subchapter, the brilliance of Dr. Calestis Juma, another one of my Jegna mentors. He's recently became an ancestor, and I continue to vow to keep up his work and his memory. And the next chapter, chapter 13, is called Organic Farming. And I'm just going to share with you just the introductory quotation from this, chapter 13, Organic Farming. This is from Vandana Shiva, who's the founder of the Research Foundation for Science, Technology, and Ecology. And she wrote, and I quote, globalized, industrialized food is not cheap. It is too costly for the earth, for the farmers, for our health. The earth can no longer carry the burden of groundwater mining, pesticide pollution, disappearance of species, and destabilization of the climate. Farmers can no longer carry the burden of debt, which is inevitable in industrial farming with its high costs of production. It is incapable of producing safe, culturally appropriate, tasty, quality food. And it is incapable of producing enough food for all because it is wasteful of land, water, and energy. Industrial agriculture uses 10 times more energy than it produces. It is thus 10 times less efficient. Unquote. From Verdana Shiva, founder of the Research Foundation for Science, Technology, and Ecology. I'm going to begin to wrap it up. I don't want to overwhelm my audience. But we got to get serious about something. We really don't hear these politicians talking about the things that we talk about here as highly relevant and highly important. They don't talk about these things because, in no small way, they're not interested. They're just not interested. I would like to think that you and I could do better than that. But we got to try. We have to try. We got to get serious about what it is that we aim to do for our generation, for the planet, for the future. And so, as a consequence, we strive to do better, to do better, to do better. And we can do better. I'm convinced we can. And I don't think I'm the only person who believes as such. So I'm committed. Many of you who interface with me are committed. And we can change the world. It doesn't take a whole bunch of us. That's the thing we got to realize. It doesn't take a whole bunch. 7 of us can change the world. 4 of us working together with strategic planning and gathering resources can change the world. Why not us? Why not us? Be the ones to be the primary change agents for a generation. I'm excited about what we have before us, what's on the table. I'm excited that we can see over the horizon and realize our place in the future, our place in changing all of this. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here for today. You've been tuned into your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIV Radio, LIV TV. We are livinginblack.com. Tell your friends, tell their friends we have our own. It's Friday, so Friday is our day to do Friday evening forum, a free Zoom. And you can join this classroom. I encourage people to join the classroom. Get studied up on Pan-African development, sustainable development. I have a website, http panafricanstudy.com. Check it out. See what you see there. See if it looks like a good plan, like a sustainable plan. Drop me an email and let me know what you think. And join our Friday night forum. If you are already on my mailing list, and you can sign up for the mailing list at chefkitty.com, then you're going to get notices about these things. But we're going to highly encourage our people, encourage our people Step up to the plate, step up your game, step up your Pan-African activities. Step up your knowledge, wisdom, information, your education. Step up, step up, step up, people. And let's get involved. Let's get engaged for what we can do, what we need to do to sustain the future, a future. So on that note, I want to thank you all for tuning in today to your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are living in black.com. Bumper music, take me out. It's been a good week. Tomorrow is, of course, the Living Superfood Family Support Group. We do that in the morning. So if you are a member of that, alumni of Living Superfood activities, then I encourage you to step up and join us. And we can I'll be joining you again today, tomorrow, Saturdays, 4 p.m. on the West Coast, 7 p.m. for our East Coast listeners for the Conscious Rasta Rant, where I pick a challenging topic and go off on a tirade. Since we are nearing that election, I'm probably going to go off on a tirade there about these politicians and whatever future that they are proposing for us. So tell your friends to tell their friends. We have our own now. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are living in black.com. And that's how we do it for today. Peace and prosperity. Hope you have a beautiful weekend, everybody. Peace now.